Good evening. Those listening at home, please be seated while Councillor Lloyd delivers the blessing. Thank you.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the continued privilege you have given each and every one of us to serve. As we say goodbye to our Deputy Mayor this evening, we ask for your blessing upon his journey ahead. May he find fulfilment in his new path, knowing that his legacy of service will continue on with us. Lift up his family and keep them in your closed hand and fill them with peace in this new time of transition. Continue to bless our city with prosperity and opportunity for all who reside here, and may we strive every day to live up to the positions entrusted to us by our community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Councillor Lloyd. Before we begin, I will acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional lands of the Whadjuk Noongar people, and on behalf of Council, pay my respects to them and their culture and to their elders, both past and present. It is now 7 p.m. and I declare the meeting open. No announcement of visitors. Are there any no disclaimers? I'll read the disclaimer actually. Members of the public are cautioned against taking any action on council decisions on items in which they may have an interest until such time as they've seen a copy of the minutes of the meeting or have been advised in writing by city staff. Record of attendance, everybody's here. Are there any disclosures of interest? Councillor Islam, you have a disclosure of interest?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. It's a disclosure of interest on proximity of interest, actually, related to 13.2.1 development application from Action Shares Australia.
Okay. Okay, thank you. You still vote on the item, no financial?
Proximity interest.
So you'll have to leave for the voting. Okay, thank you. 13 point, so where we are. Announcements of prize lighting member. I've got a couple here. Last week I attended the Parks and Leisure Awards, State Awards for WA, and as I suggested, it is the state, so it would be WA, right? The City was successful in the recent awards for the Environmental Stewardship Award for the restoration of the Canning and Southern River confluence, which is the junction of the two rivers between Caulfield Street and the Burslem Drive Bridge. The award celebrates and acknowledges those who protect nature and parks, improve client resilience, ensure sustainability and care for our land, as well as champions of the environment in all these areas. We also need to congratulate staff Claire Barton, who is the environmental coordinator, and her dedicated team. So, Martin, if you could pass our congratulations on to them, and this is the award they received. Yay. I also took the opportunity to let the Minister Templeman, asked him to share with Minister Whitby that we would need more funding for that sort of thing. So I think he took that on board. At the same ceremony, one of our city staff members, Miss Kylie Van Uden, was also awarded with the David Alduis Emerging Leader Award in recognition of her outstanding contributions as an emerging professional in making a significant contribution to the parks and leisure industry. Kylie commenced with the City of Gosnells in January 2012 as a horticulture apprentice. She completed her trade in 2015 and was seconded to the Parks technical role in 2021. Kylie completed her diploma in horticulture in 2023 and was made a permanent Parks technical officer in February of the same year. Kylie is also a board member of the PLA, which is the Parks Leisure Australia. She's a mum, and she's the current rodeo queen for WA. So congratulations to Kylie on that award. Okay. As we all know, Deputy Mayor Hort's last meeting at Council is with us tonight. I'm going to start this again. As we all know, this is Deputy Mayor Hort's last meeting as a councillor with us tonight. So I'll take a few moments to reflect on the Deputy Mayor's time here with us. This is not going to mention it all, just some of it. First and foremost, I must acknowledge his tireless passion for protecting our precious wildlife from the clutches of roaming cats. While some of us were busy attending community meetings and setting the strategic direction of the city, our Deputy Mayor was out there, cape flapping in the wind, valiantly defending the local bird population. If you ever saw a cat looking particularly guilty, you could bet on it, our Deputy Mayor was nearby giving it a real good stern talking to. He even went so far as to initiate cat traps, a move that has ensured the possums and quenders will never forgive him. They are now in a mixed relationship with him, grateful for the protection but wary of the traps. I think one thing that Adam is prouder of than the cat law was initiating the discussion and gaining council support for the policy to enhance the Canning and Southern Rivers. The conversation around this policy ultimately led to the creation of Homestead Park, which we all know is a very popular park in our city. He also floated the idea of a Neighbour of the Year, and thanks to him, our neighbourhoods have never been more competitive, with residents going above and beyond to outdo each other in acts of kindness, which is fantastic to see. While not entirely council-related at the beginning, it was Adam who kicked off the Thornley Community Notice Board Facebook page. So what started as a simple idea has grown to a well-used community resource that has over 11,000 members now. And the notice board, I think, plays a key role in connecting neighbours, sharing news, building a strong sense of community and assisting in locating missing cats, of which we all silently hope they didn't venture down towards the river. But jokes aside, I think we would all agree Adam's contributions have been invaluable. His decision-making, passion and unwavering commitment in the betterment of our community has left an indelible mark. I'm sure we'll all miss his input into our workshop discussions, his innovative ideas and his dedication to making Gosnells a better place. So, Deputy Mayor, as you step down from your role, on behalf of the City of Gosnells Council and staff, I would like to wish you all the very best for your future endeavours. May your debates be as lively, your community projects be as successful, and your encounters with cats and traps be as minimal as possible. And if by any chance you do in the future end up serving on the Kalamunda Council in years to come, we do expect you to agree to that boundary change that we've been asking for. So thank you, and here's to your next adventures, and we do wish you all the very best of luck in those adventures. But before I do finish on that, I do have a little gift for you. A couple of things. just a little one, so you don't have to declare. Sorry. Okay. First we have a beanie, because it's very cold up in the hills. Okay, beanie. And then we have this, just in case you do come across any cats. We have a card signed by us all. And we have this, just in case in any of your future adventures that you need to know what you must not do, you must stay humble, stay grounded, and not be a Cheshire cat. And we have all this in a star bag, because you'll always be a star to us. What are you doing? There's no money in there. Thank you. That's for you later, okay? Thank you. Okay, that's all from me. Reports of delegates, and if you would like to say a few words to our cat-loving Deputy Mayor, you are more than welcome to at this time. Looked as though you will say a few words.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a report. On the 19th of June, Madam Mayor and I attended the South East Metro Zone meeting, which was held at City of Gosnells. During the meeting, we had a presentation from a couple of ladies from the Office of Homelessness and Department of Communities, and this was regarding their strategy called All Paths Lead to a Home, which was quite interesting. Very difficult topic that they're working on and trying to adjust their strategy. They're halfway through their strategy with this All Paths Lead to a Home, and seeing what they can do over the next 5 years to improve homelessness. On that topic, we also had another agenda item, which was the endorsement of an advocacy position, allowing tiny homes on wheels to stay on private property for up to 12 months at a time. The final interesting part of the meeting was that I would like to congratulate the latest member of the State Council, Madam Mayor, who was very successful in being elected amongst some tight competition on the night. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Baines. Councillor Dalton? Councillor Dewhurst? Oh, Councillor Betts, sorry. Sorry, I forgot you were up there. Carry on, Councillor Betts, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And councillors, just a report on the Rivers Regional Council meeting held on the 20th of June. You would all be aware that the Rivers Regional Council was wanting to move to a regional subsidiary structure as allowed for under the Local Government Act. This has been painstakingly slow, as it seems public servants and the minister seem to have great difficulty in making decisions. The chairperson and the CEO of Rivers met with the Minister for Local Government on Wednesday, the 19th of June, to discuss the application again because it had stalled and to try and find a way forward. The CEO had a follow-up meeting with the ministerial advisors and the Department of Local Government staff the very next day, concluding about 3 p.m, which was the day of our meeting. The good news is that the Minister remains supportive of the transition program and is apologetic about the time it has taken. The bad news is we have two paths forward. The first is to wait for legislative changes to be passed that would allow the approval of the Rivers Regional Charter to be adopted as currently adopted. This could be later this year or into next year, although most likely not until after the election, so possibly late next year. The second alternative is to amend the Charter, which all the councils or participating councils have agreed to amend that to satisfy the current departmental interpretations of the existing legislation. And from the negotiations on the 20th of June, it emerged that only some very minor changes were needed, and the CEO took those minor changes to the meeting on the 20th of June, and these were put before the meeting, but as some councillors had not had a chance to read the changes or seek advice on them, it was agreed that this week a officers group meeting will be held, and they will hopefully recommend to the Rivers Regional Council that we proceed to modify the Charter by adopting those very minor changes. And then a special meeting of the Rivers Regional Council will be held, and if approved, they will need ratification by each council. So there's still a few steps to go through. As I said, I consider the changes very minor. Things like there's a subsidiary can't trade while insolvent, something that I thought was covered by other legislation, but they wanted that put in there and we didn't see any problems with that. But if it allows the minister to sign off on the regional subsidiary charter, then I think it's worth doing. And given that the next state election is due on March the 9th, I think it's very unlikely that we would see any legislative changes until late 2025. So adopting these minor changes that conform to the interpretation of the local government department's interpretation of the current legislation certainly seems the best way forward. And one other bit of good news is that the first trial burn at the waste to energy plant is only a few weeks away now. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Betts. Any further reports of delegates? Councillor Dewhurst.
Just a report on Adam Hort. Thanks, Madam Mayor. So
We'll give you leeway to make that report. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Mayor, councillors, well, I'm on the other side. I'm actually glad Adam Hort is actually going, and I'll tell you why. I go over to Thornley. People are having problems over there, and they say to me, okay, he lives there, so I can understand it. Oh, Adam's handling it. Okay, no worries. Southern River, you see his issues heading over there. Oh, I'll go contact the people I normally contact. I'll go give them a hand. Oh, Adam's handling it. Martin, where I live, Adam's in there, you know. Orange Grove, Adam's in there. He's in Langford, Adam's everywhere, you know. It's sad truth, though, Madam Mayor, he's making the rest of us look pretty bad. I mean, have a look at him. He's like a poster boy, you know. He's got a model job. He's got an absolute beautiful, wonderful family. I mean, he's a good-looking man himself. I mean, well, who's going to be our poster boy now? I know I won't be, you know. So someone's got to try and step up. So, you know, I'm actually glad he's leaving because he's making the rest of us look bad, Madam Mayor. So, but all seriousness, I'm actually going to miss you. And something nice happened this evening. My daughter came up to me, my 18-year-old daughter, who knows nothing about local government apart from what I tell her, and I don't tell her very much at all. And she said to me, she goes, oh, Dad, Adam's leaving tonight, isn't he? And I thought, how the hell do you know that, you know? So she made him actually a video, and she asked not to share it for anybody else, but show Adam that. And
Showed me as well.
Yeah, I showed you as well. Don't tell Cody that, okay? So it's just a secret from us all. We don't tell Cody that she did the secret. But I mean, but that's the profound reach that you've had in this community. I'll tell you what, it's been absolutely inspirational. Watch you grow from, well, you didn't even start here, you started here. You went in punching all the way through and you did very well. We didn't always agree with everything like that, but it was always very professional. Nothing was personal, and yeah, I'll miss you, mate. Okay, thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Councillor Good, thank you.
That's better. Well, unfortunately, I don't have anything as funny as Councillor Dewhurst's remarks to make, so I can't top that.
What's funny about it?
Every day I got the giggles. I'm trying to work out how to be serious, but no. All jokes aside, last week, two wonderful things happened on last Wednesday. First of all, Neighbourhood Watch had their meeting at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, and it was a very good meeting of Neighbourhood Watch, in particular with the police turning up. And what was encouraging about it was, you may recall, councillors and Madam Mayor, that 1 or 2 OCMs ago, ordinary council meetings, I made a point that we had a street meeting at Atfield Street, and over about 40-odd people turned up. But it was great to get the feedback from the police themselves last Wednesday saying, great job. They were encouraged by the people who turned up, people who were getting involved, and it's just a wonderful thing. So I just want to let councils know that Neighbourhood Watch is going well, people are participating, and the police were very, very happy to see the response that they got. I think 4 of their staff turned up, so it's pretty good. That was from the meeting, so just want to give you that feedback. But that was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Earlier in the morning, something really, really unbelievably happened. You'd be aware of it, of course, councillors, was that the CWA of WA celebrated 100 years. Pretty remarkable to think in 1924 to 2024. And of course the Thornley branch celebrated its 55th year. Councillor Lloyd joined me at this morning tea. And the morning tea, I'll just read to you what was done because it's actually fantastic work. The longest serving member, a lady called Linda, She's been a member for 34 years, and our most senior member, a lady called Zoe, is 94 years old. For our centenary celebration on June the 12th, they had a very busy schedule that included Welcome to Country acknowledgement and smoking ceremony conducted by Simon Forrest, Carleen Wakefield, who's the Thornley branch president, my own wife, Jenny Good, who's the branch and centenary committee secretary, and Lois Jones, who's the branch vice president, centenary committee president, took part in the smoking ceremony on behalf of the CWA membership. This was followed by the Mudjit mob dancers from Wesley College's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander program. Our president presented the group with some Aboriginal regalia made by branch members. The local seniors group, and this is very impressive, down here at Addie Mills, the local seniors group from the Addie Mills Centre, they sung songs called Singing for Fun. Actually, they're actually called Singing for Fun, I should say. Entertained us with 4 songs: the national anthem, Wanju, the welcome song, We Are Australian, and I Still Call Australia Home. And just off the cuff, the lady conductor singing, what a magnificent voice she has. So everyone was just spellbound by these brilliant singers from down at Addie Mills. I thought, get them to sing next somewhere, that'd be really, really good. The CWA State President, Anne Gething, officially opened the day with her speech. Honorary Freeman of the City of Gosnells, Mrs Patricia Morris, AMJP, delivered a speech that focused on the history of Thornley and the CWA Thornley being established on the 10th of September 1969. I just wanted to bring a visual, and happy to pass around, but on the front page of last week's Examiner, the spirit of Thornley turns 100, just in case the camera shot can pick that up, but there you go, the spirit of Thornley turns 100. I'm hoping, Acting Director Community Engagement, that you may want to put this into the Thornley Living History book, because this would be really good 25 years, 30 years, 50 years from now. Some good story. In addition, Mrs Morris, Patricia Morris, also spoke about her own mother, who was a CWA Life member. Local bakery, you'd love this one, Deputy Mayor Hort. It's probably the last time I'm going to say that. Forest Lakes Bakery House. I suppose you've got shares in that shed too, have you? Just checking.
Bakery, one of the best.
One of the best. Made the CWA centenary birthday cake, which was cut by the CWA State President and Thornley and Branch President there of the Thornley. Jenny Abetz, so for Peter Abetz on screen there, Jenny Abetz from Shoebox House. Thornley thanked the Thornley branch for generously supporting their Operation Christmas Child project over the years. Thornley Library, everyone was getting involved, it's an amazing morning tea. Thornley Library was presented with the book Women of Spirit, a centenary of CWA stories, that we look forward to the community being able to access the book through the library. The commemorative plaque was officially unveiled by the CWA State President and will remain at the Hume Road Hall, where Thornley branch meet each week. Each week they meet there on 11 o'clock roughly. A flowering red gum tree was planted with a tree planting ceremony and a sumptuous morning tea light lunch. And finally, I wanted to finish off with the CWA thanks the City of Gosnells for their wonderful support, which they have done. So what an incredible morning tea, an incredible event. And this organisation, the way they make and produce goods for all over the place is phenomenal. So I say to people, if you get bored, join the CWA. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Good, and I was very glad that you and Councillor Lloyd could be there. I had commitments elsewhere, so I wasn't able to make it, but it sounded like it was a great event. So congratulations to the CWA. Thank you. Any further? Sorry?
Shall I say my farewell now?
I think we'll do the receiving of petitions and presentations. That's okay with you? Thank you. Any further? Councillor, no being outspoken now. Councillor McDonald, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, look, I just wanted to add my thanks, Adam, to the contribution that you've made to our city. Your attributes are on show for all of us to see. That your intellect, which is what it is. It's very high. Your capacity to work, your work ethic is just unparalleled as well. Your ability at the microphone is much better than mine, although I think I'm getting better, slowly, very slowly. But above all, I think your ability to connect with our community, the community, is something that I've certainly grown to admire, and I think that as well as us as councillors, we're going to miss you. but I think this community is going to miss you, not only for the service you've given, but also for you as a person. So I just wanted to thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McDonald. Any further reports from delegates? No, thank you. We shall move on to question time for the public and the receiving of public statements. Question time, we have 4 questions from Mrs Barriolo from Victoria Road in Kenwick. You can ask all 4, Mrs Barriolo, thank you.
Thank you so much. Daisy, I appreciate it. I've actually given all the answers to Mr Bradbrook. Can someone please confirm if the most...
Sorry, you've given all the answers to Mr Bradbrook. So you know the answers?
Absolutely. Can someone confirm if the most recent road traffic survey you had supplied to me was conducted in 2022? It was actually sent to me by Tandra. It revealed that there was 1,356 commercial vehicles that use Victoria Road. It is now the 25th of June 2024. The road usage has significantly changed.
So you've given the answers to Mr Bradbrook so he could answer. You're going to answer. Mr CEO is going to answer, thank you.
Madam Mayor, we'll have
I've got
to check
copies here as well.
that. Oh,
I'm so confused. You have the answers, he has the answers, but we don't have...
Oh, no, I didn't give them to Mr Glover. Sorry, my apologies.
Mr Glover, thank you.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the information was provided to Ms Barriolo by my team. In fact, it was 1,356 vehicles had used the road in 2022 in that survey. There were 27.9% of those vehicles that were commercial, or trucks, if you like, which equates to 378 commercial vehicles or trucks per day that were using that road.
And so the last part of that question, what is now 25th of June 2024, the road usage... Oh, no, that's not a question, sorry. Okay, next question, thank you.
That bit was just a statement. Question 2. Is the City of Gosnells aware that more than 97% of the properties on Victoria Road are being utilised as transport depots for commercial vehicle parking? The majority of these commercial vehicles are over width and over length. I just want to make it clear, it's not the properties, it's the road I'm talking about.
So to answer your question about the properties...
So basically it is the City of Gosnells aware that more than 97% of the properties on Victoria Road are being utilised as transport depots for commercial vehicle parking? The majority of these commercial vehicles are over width and over length.
I'm going to put this... Actually,
Happy to
from
take
someone
it
that
on-
used to live on Victoria Road, I don't actually think these numbers are correct, but we'll look into it and take it on notice. Thank you.
I think you might want to have a drive down and see what's happened in the last couple of weeks. Question 3. We appreciate, Mr Glover, your prompt repair of the intersection at the T-junction of Victoria Road and Bickley Road. Unfortunately, it has sustained some damage again in less than 4 days. As mentioned, the commercial vehicles are over width, over length. They are just too big for the intersection. Happy to show you the photos.
Is there a question with that, or are you just making the statement?
That's basically just a statement to say thank you for fixing it, but it's already damaged 4 days later.
Thank you. Your last question?
Question 4. Could you confirm whether it is accurate that on September the 26th, 2006, item 13.5.3 for commercial vehicle parking on Victoria Road in Kenwick was discussed? I also had submitted a petition which included 35 submissions, 22 from Victoria Road and 13 from Bickley Road. Of those submissions, 22 objected to the proposal, citing concerns that the road is inadequate for that.
Point of order, Madam Mayor. These aren't questions, these are statements.
Sorry,
and,
thank you,
know,
Councillor Dewhurst.
Just wasting our time.
Thank you.
Mrs.
Mrs Barriolo, could you just continue with your question, please?
Well, no, I've just been interrupted and I'm a ratepayer and I'm allowed to ask questions.
Yes, well, I'm going to go to the end of your question, please, Mrs Barriolo.
Okay, of those submissions, 22 objected to the proposal, citing concerns that the road is inadequate and that the large commercial vehicles access the streets when they actually block off access. Again, it's about the road. It's not the properties. It's the road infrastructure I'm talking about.
Thank you, Mrs Barrow. Since it was 2006, we'll take this on notice because no one
I've
here
got
will know
it
the
here.
answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Just one more thing, I would just like to say thank you, Councillor Hort. You've been absolutely amazing throughout your whole time here, and I wish you well and with your family.
Thank you, Mrs Barriolo. We'll now move on to public statement time, which is, it's not about an item on the agenda, but we have had a request for someone from the community that would like to make a statement about Deputy Mayor Hort. So please do come forward, Mr Cherry, with your statement about Deputy Mayor Hort. Thank you. Hang on, let me just read it, make sure it's all right. Sorry.
Thanks, Mayor Lyons. As most would know, Deputy Mayor Hort is his final council meeting tonight. I'm taking this time to thank Deputy Mayor Hort for his outstanding service as a councillor and Deputy Mayor to the Gosnells community. Deputy Mayor Hort was a people-first person and was willing to work with the community to achieve goals. One example for myself was the additional street light on the Sugarwood Drive, Currajong Drive, Driftwood Court roundabout in Thornley. Without Deputy Mayor Hort's assistance, this wouldn't have happened. It won't be the same without you again, Deputy Mayor Hort. I'd like to wish you all the best for the future and hope to see you one day again soon. And when I go home, I'll be patting my cat for you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr Cherry. We'll move on to the confirmation of minutes. Can I get a mover for that, please? Mover for the minutes. Thank you, Councillor McDonald, and seconded by Councillor Zhang. Is there any questions on the minutes, councillors? If you could please cast your vote by a show of hands. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Moving on to the receiving of petitions and presentations. Are there any? Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Before I start, I just got to apologise to the organiser of this because I gave them the wrong information. They asked me, a number of them had asked me about how to do a petition, and I said, you go to the city, grab a form, and you get the ratepayers to sign it. So as a result of that, they wouldn't let residents sign it and all people outside of out of their immediate area. So they believe they turned, or they've said they've turned a lot of people away, and they believe that they could have got double the amount of signatures. So I do need to apologise to them about this. So the petition for policy change regarding third-party complaints to the City of Gosnells. We, the undersigned resident stakeholders of the City of Gosnells, hereby submit this petition to address a pressing issue affecting our community. We call upon the City Council to enact a change in policy concerning the handling of complaints lodged by individuals who have no direct proximity or vested interest in the properties in question. The background. It has come to our attention that certain individuals have been repeatedly filing complaints over trivial matters concerning properties with which they have no direct connection. These complaints are not neighbouring residents, nor are they impacted by the activities or conditions of the properties they are targeting. This practice not only causes unnecessary administrative burdens on the city resources, but also results in undue stress and inconvenience for property owners who have unjustifiably been targeted. The rationale for the change. Efficiency in resource allocation. By prioritising complaints from those directly affected, the City can allocate its resources more effectively, addressing legitimate concerns more promptly and effectively. Reduction of frivolous complaints. Implementing a policy that requires complainants to demonstrate a direct impact of proximity to the property in question will significantly reduce the number of frivolous complaints, allowing the City officials to focus on genuine issues. Fairness and justice. It is only fair that the City complaint process respects the rights and privacy of property owners. Individuals who have no direct stake in the matter should not wield undue influence over the affairs of others. Community harmony. A policy change will foster a more harmonious community by preventing unnecessary conflict and fostering a spirit of neighbourly cooperation and mutual transparency. Transparency and accountability. Anonymous complaints should not be regarded as a practice is un-Australian and undermines the principles of transparency and accountability. It is essential that individuals stand behind their claims openly if they expect their concerns to be taken seriously. They've got a proposed policy change, Madam Mayor, which says we propose that the City Council adopts a policy regarding that. Complaints must come from individuals residing within a specific proximity to the property in question or from those who can demonstrate legitimate direct impact on their own property or well-being. All complaints must include evidence of the complaint's direct connection to or the impact of the issue being reported. Anonymous complaints be disregarded unless accompanied by substantial evidence of serious violation. conclusion, Madam Mayor, the petition reflects the collective voice of the community demanding a more reasonable and fair approach to the handling of property-related complaints. We, the ratepayers of Orange Grove, ask that this change will lead to more effective use of city resources, ensure justice and fairness for property owners, and promote a more peaceful and cooperative community environment. We respectfully urge the City Council to consider and adopt this policy change to better serve the interests of residents, and sincerely the main residents of Orange Grove and a few people on Martin, just in that out bit. 97 signatures, Madam Mayor, so they've certainly done the work out there for such a small population. I ask for that a report to be submitted.
We need to vote on this, Councillor Dewhurst, sorry. We need to vote on this. Thank you. You're moving that the petition be received and a report prepared for council. Seconder, Councillor Good's happy to second that. Councillors, please cast your vote on that. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Thank you. As long as it's on there clearly who it's from, Mrs Barriola, it doesn't need to be read out here in public. Thank you. It'll be in the report. It'll be in the report. Thank you. Any further petitions and presentations? Deputy Mayor Hort, thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's enormously humbling hearing lovely words spoken about my time on council. I only have very positive memories of my time serving the community on council, and I just want to pass on a heartfelt thank you to the residents and ratepayers who put me here in the first place, and the opportunities that have come from that have been far more significant than I ever could have imagined. So I'm really, really grateful for them. I was reflecting when I first joined council, my first council meeting, I was very scared. I think there was a few angry comments from the public gallery. I was just I thought a young fella from Thornley. I had a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. My wife was at uni at the time, and now I think kind of almost 5 years later how much has changed in my life, and how much has changed as I've come through the corridors every Tuesday night to come spend a bit of time at council with many of you. It's been wonderful. I kind of think that the class of 2019, it was Councillor Aaron Adams, Councillor Sarah Patterson, Councillor Emma Zhang, kind of learnt together. We went through that first raft of education that was mandated upon us, and I've got very fond memories of learning how to be a councillor with the class of 2019. It feels like a lifetime ago now. And to all the other councillors that I've worked with over the years, I'm enormously grateful for all of your contributions to my own learning, my own personal and professional development, but also to work alongside you to create what I think is a pretty impressive legacy over the last 4 or 5 years. Nothing any councillor does is in isolation, or they can take any credit for. It's always a team effort, and I've been so grateful and blessed to be able to work with a number of wonderful councillors. I always speak so highly of the city staff, and they're probably sick of hearing me talk about it. But Martin, thank you so much for teaching me so much about engineering and asphalt and capital works and all these things that, as a kind of a pharmacist from Thornley, I had no chance of understanding until you spent the time explaining it all to me and helping me understand where on earth all that money went, and why parks do cost that much to be maintained and upgraded. So thank you very much for all you've done, and for all that work that's gone into what I think is a very, very impressive capital works program over the last 4 or 5 years. And probably the biggest moment of sadness for me in resigning was actually sitting through the future capital works plan a couple of workshops ago, and that's when I decided I probably wouldn't come back to another workshop because they were a bit sad looking at the future, and I wouldn't be here to see all this exciting, amazing work that the city is doing. So very exciting. Chris, I never really understood planning. No, I did. I had to as a councillor, and I thank you for teaching me enough that I could help make some of those decisions. And one of the highlights from my planning time, I remember the ambulance, not the ambulance, this St John's acute care it would look like it was going to come down to some really pointy issues for them, and as a council, with Chris's help, we had managed to make a kind of 11th hour change to the plan so that they were happy with it, and now we've got a really bustling, vibrant and, although some people say expensive, acute care centre in, they say Cannington, I say Beckenham. So thank you, Chris, for all that you've taught me. I'll come to you, Madam Mayor, skip you for later. Ian, thank you so much for your counsel over the years, and for I remember the first meeting I ever had with Ian. I said, we need to do more with the rivers, Ian. And I kind of came up with all these grandiose plans. He said, why don't we just start with a policy, Adam? And it was the best bloody idea, because it's made such a difference. So that's just one example of how Ian's kind of taken my innovation and my sometimes a bit more flamboyant plans that are probably practical for local government and tunnelled them into something that's much more practical and actually has I think, a very pragmatic response. Thank you, Ian. Grant, spoken to you so many times on the phone. I think in the top 5 on your phone, it ranks who you speak to the most. Other than Madam Mayor, you're probably a close second. My wife's looking forward to kind of jumping into that top 2 in the coming weeks. Again, thanks for all your counsel and for your support. And I think that even began during the election period for me, when I was trying to figure out what on earth this whole local government thing was all about. And Maxine and Glenda, I've already given Glenda all my love before she went on leave. Thank her for all the work, and thank you to Maxine and Peter and the team in community engagement. One of my fondest memories of my time in local government was the at home but not alone. When everyone was locked down, they weren't allowed to do anything, but the City of Gosnells community engagement staff created, I think it should have been award-winning, but I think we just got nominations in the end, but I think an award-winning program that connected the City of Gosnells like nothing I've ever seen before. We were throwing Easter eggs off the back of fire engines to kids in the street, and there were fireworks while neighbours gathered and had barbecues. It was truly a remarkable time, and something that I'll always treasure, especially pegging like Easter eggs. It's pretty cool. With like an Easter. Aaron knows what I'm talking about. So I could be here all night talking, and you know I would, but I won't put you through that. But yeah, thank you very much, councillors. I really appreciate it. Glenn, we've had some pretty robust debates here, mate. I think we're both nearly kind of blown vessels in our brow, getting angry at each other, and just return the sentiment. No matter how heated it got, no matter how different our opinions were, it was always done with respect, and we're always mates at the end. So appreciate that, acknowledge that, and I think I share that same sentiment with all my fellow councillors. It's like Ian said to me, I think after my first meeting, kind of play the ball and not the man. And that's something that I've had to kind of repeat in my head a few times as I get fired up about certain issues. So another bit of sage advice from old mate. I'm going to get you. I am... The Thornley Community Notice Board were the people that said to me, and a Labor staffer said to me, you should run for local government. And Teresa reached out to me, and we had many long chats, me trying to figure out if could I be a councillor? It's like, do I have the skill set to be a councillor? Could I make it work with family life and professional life? So thank you, Teresa, for it must have been an enormous amount of time that you contributed to some random guy in Thornley, explaining to him over Facebook chat how a council life works. So thank you for that. It helped contribute to my decision to run, which inevitably probably kicked you off council. But it's been absolutely wonderful working with you now for nearly 3 years, and you are an exceptional leader and someone who does a lot of great stuff for this city, both behind the scenes but also obviously publicly as well. There's so many things that you do that no one will even realise for many years. So kudos to you and the sacrifices you make to make this city a better place and to serve our residents, ratepayers, our council and our staff. I'll leave it at that, because otherwise I might get a bit teary. I think it's been absolutely enormous and humbling experience being a councillor. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I do want to mention some frustrations of mine, if I can. I thought these things would be done in 5 years. Hester Park, where the hell is Hester Park? WA government. LPS 24, I think I approved that in my first year as a councillor. the local planning scheme 24. Who on earth knows where that is now? Must be nearly 5 years later. I was hoping I'd see that in my time on council. Rivers Regional Council, what on earth's going on there? That'd be lovely to see turned into what it really needs to be. So frustrated. Peter, I was hoping you were going to bring us some good news here tonight. But regardless of those frustrations, I think we've achieved an enormous amount. I think the future is really very bright for the City of Gosnells. I've been grateful to be here holding up one of the seats, keeping it warm for the next councillor who will take over. God bless the City of Gosnells.
Deputy Mayor Hort always likes to have a clap, so we'll give him a clap. Thank you. Okay, who wants to top that with presentations and reports? Anyone? No more petitions or presentations? No, thank you. Any applications for leave of absence? No, thank you. No questions of which due notice have been given. So we'll move on to 13.2.1, the development application for 2 outbuildings at 57 Lot 3403 Southgate Road, Langford. And Councillor Islam, you are to leave the chambers for this one. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Can I get a mover for that, please? Councillor Williamson to move that and Councillor Adams to second that. Councillor Williamson, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Adams? Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Councillors, please cast your vote. Thank you. That has been carried. Thank you, Mr Glover. We'll get Councillor Islam back and we'll wait for that. That item was carried, Councillor Islam. Thank you. Moving on to item 13.3.1, the purchase of the land at lots 90 and 91 Celebration Street, Beckenham. Can I get a mover? Deputy Mayor Hort to move this. Councillor Dewhurst to second this. Deputy Mayor Hort, would you like to speak to this? Councillor Dewhurst. Anybody else? No, thank you. If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. That has been carried. Sorry. Councillor Diane Lloyd's, you're voting against? Yep, thank you. Got that? Very good, thank you. 13.3.2, the black spot funding application for 2025-26, the low-cost urban road safety program update and city-funded LATM projects for 24-25. Can I get a mover? Councillor McDonald to move that and Councillor Zhang to second that. Councillor McDonald, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Zhang? No? Anybody else? Councillor Williamson, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to thank the staff for preparing this. I think there's some really good projects on here that are going in for funding through the state and federal government. To note is the Ramford Road Southern River intersection with the roundabout with 77 crashes in there. I think this is going to be a really great improvement for the community. That roundabout is bit notorious for crashes there and people like to avoid it, but it's actually on a main bus route. It's on a school route as well. There's lots of high school students that try and cross that intersection, so any improvements that can happen there are fantastic. And it's also great to see the second stage of Wharton Road, Furley Road going ahead. Again, that one for years and years and years has been through a number of crashes, and the staff have done a really great job to be able to get main roads to agree to have some traffic signals there. The speed limit came down in that area, but still it's not enough. So I think if we can get those traffic lights in there and the turning lane, should really improve the road safety of the area. So I just wanted to thank the staff for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Williamson. Does anybody else have anything further to debate or add to this? No? If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Item number 13.5.1, the financial activity statement for May 2024. Can I get Councillor Dewhurst to move that? Seconder, please. Councillor Baines to second that. Councillor Dewhurst, would you like to speak? Councillor Baines, anybody else have any questions on this item? No? If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Item 13.5.2, the payment of accounts for 2024. Deputy Mayor Adam Hort is to move that and Councillor Dalton is to second that. Deputy Mayor Hort, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Dalton? No? Thank you. If you could, any other questions on this item? No? Councillors, please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. Item 13.5.3, the tender for 07-2024, the supply and application of primer sealer. Can I get a mover? Councillor Dewhurst to move that. Deputy Mayor Hort to second that. Is any speaking on this item? Sorry, as the speaker, as the mover, I'll get you to speak to this first. Councillor Dewhurst, thank you.
It's actually just a question. It's interesting to know that there's a number of companies out there can do it. Any reason why I only got one tenderer for it? A good company, I agree with the recommendation, but is that industry norms happening now, or just like to know why?
I'll see if Director Glover has got a response for you on that question.
Through you, Madam Mayor, it does happen from time to time. There are a number of companies that can do it, but I think also with the history of particular companies tendering for particular municipalities, they get to a point where they don't bother because they lose every time, and you end up with one, and we're happy with the pricing.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Hort, would you like to speak to this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had a similar question to Councillor Dewhurst, but I just wanted to say it's a great price for primer seal, and it's fantastic to have Boral Resources, a local company, contributing to this. So thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Dewhurst, would you like to close, or was there any other further debate on this item? Councillor Dewhurst, would you like to close on this item? Thank you, councillors. Deputy Mayor Hall, would you like to cast your last vote for the council of, thank you. If everybody could please cast their vote. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. There are no motions of which previous notice has been given, no urgent business, no confidential matters. And it is now 7:45. I declare the meeting closed. Au revoir, Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
See you later, everybody.